Praise to you, Jesus Christ, who reigns in endless glory. Praise to you, Jesus Christ, who reigns in endless glory. My friends, our God is with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Glory to you, Lord. It was before the feast of Passover, and Jesus realized that the hour had come for him to pass from this world to God. He had always loved his own in this world, but now he showed how perfect this love was. The devil had already convinced Judas Iscariot, begotten of Simon, to betray Jesus. So during supper, Jesus, knowing that God had put all things into his own hands and that he had come from God and was returning to God, rose from the table, took off his clothes, and wrapped a towel around his waist. He then poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to dry them with the towel that was around his waist. When Jesus came to Simon Peter, Peter said, "Rabbi, you are not going to wash my feet, are you?" Jesus answered, "You do not realize what I am doing right now, but later you will understand." Peter replied, "You will never wash my feet." And Jesus answered, "If I do not wash your feet, you have no part with me." Simon said to Jesus, "Then, Rabbi, not only my feet, but my hands and my head as well." Jesus said, "All who have taken a bath are clean all over and only need to wash their feet. And you are clean, though not every one of you." For Jesus knew who was to betray him. That is why he said, "Not all of you are clean." After washing their feet, Jesus put back on his clothes, returned to the table, and he said to them, "Do you understand what I have done for you? You call me teacher and rabbi, and rightly, for so I am. If I, your teacher and rabbi, have washed your feet, you should wash each other's feet. I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you." My friends, the good news of salvation. Glory and praise to our Savior, Jesus Christ. This, my friends, begins the most sacred season of the church's liturgical year. It's the start of the Triduum, these three holy days, Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday. It's actually one liturgy. It's one liturgy that's spread out over 3 days. It begins tonight with the Feast of Passover and ends with the celebration of the resurrection. It ends with the celebration that takes place at the Easter Vigil with the great Exultet. And while I want to explore these 3 days with you, I first want to offer just a short reflection on the gospel of tonight's liturgy. You may or may not know, but this is the institution narrative of John's gospel. Unlike the synoptics, John shares this experience of Jesus at the Passover meal as the story of how Jesus washes the feet of those with whom he is gathered to celebrate on this highest of holy days. One of my early spiritual directors said of this gospel, he said, "I believe that the vestments of the priesthood should not be stole and chasuble, but rather should be an apron, a servant's garment." As Jesus said, "As I have done, so should you also do." It's not only the call or the challenge that Jesus gave to the disciples, it's our call, it's our challenge as well, to put on the apron of a servant and to do whatever you and I can, wherever we are, and wherever we can make a difference in this world to bring about the reign of God. Sure, we aren't able to gather either last year or this year and wash each other's feet. And we haven't been able to because the pandemic is still raging. But my friends, pandemics don't stop the good news of Jesus Christ. Pandemics don't stop the gospel spreading. Pandemics don't stop random acts of kindness that can transform and change the world. Pandemics can't stop God's love from reaching every corner of our earth. The only thing that can stop God's love is you and I. Our fear, our worry, our inability to trust in God, our arrogance, our certitude, our desire for easy answers, and the creation of scapegoats to cover our own fears, those are the things that can stop the reign of God. And really, my friends, what do we have to be scared of? What do we have to be fearful of? Or what do we have to be worried about? This whole thing that you and I live, life, is all God's work. We just need to show up every day with a mindset that's open to how God might be revealed to us in our lives, an openness to and a willingness to live a life of acceptance, an acceptance of living life on life's terms rather than our own. You see, my friends, this is a gospel that points out to us that if you and I would simply spend a part of our lives in service of those who are less fortunate than us, or those who are in need of a voice, or in need of a hand, or in need of our support, then our lives might simply not be so challenging. Washing someone's feet, I always wondered when we were gathered and we would actually wash each other's feet if we understood the depth of its meaning. Because washing someone's feet, it can mean writing elected officials to stand with our LGBT community in support of their rights and those who are neglected and abused and unseen in our world. Washing someone's feet might mean buying our next meal from a local minority-owned business to show them that we stand in solidarity and in support. Washing someone's feet might mean sending an elected leader a card that simply says, "Today I held you in my prayer." Because being a leader today is not an easy task. Washing someone's feet can be as simple and as profound as two very simple words. Thank you. As we enter these 3 most holy days, I pray that we might find ways that you and I can foster the birth of the reign of God, that you and I might be able to find ways that the garment of our aprons might be put to use in service of those who are tired and hurting and in need, even if it is just a word of hope. And as Cassie so brilliantly put it in her reflection, maybe each of us can find a small act of service to provide somebody. And maybe more importantly, we can stop and rest, just rest long enough to notice and to welcome the services of someone that someone is striving to offer to each of us. As hard as it might seem sometimes, maybe we can receive the strength and wisdom and humility necessary to honor the courage and the generosity of others.